If you really want your content to connect, to actually perform better, you've got to master the art of the story. So today, we're going to break down 6 super powerful storytelling techniques that are going to completely change how you create. So let me just ask you, do you want to make content that people actually remember? The stuff that sticks with them long after they've scrolled on by? Yeah, of course you do. That's the dream, right? But how in the world do you do that in this ocean of endless content? Well, the answer isn't a fancier camera or some wild new editing trick. Nope. The real secret, the key to making something truly unforgettable, is mastering the art of storytelling. And we're not just going to talk about vague ideas here, we are getting tactical. We've got 6, count them, 6 specific techniques for you. That's right, these are 6 proven techniques that are going to take you from just, making stuff to becoming a true master storyteller. Okay, you ready? Let's dive in. First things first, we have to look at the big picture. This is the blueprint for your story. It's all about nailing the fundamental structure before you even think about all the little details. Okay, so our first technique, it's called direction. And it might sound a little backward, but trust me on this, the rule is simple. Start with the end. Seriously, before you even write your first word, you need to know your very last line. Think of it as your last dab, that one final powerful point you want to leave ringing in your audience's ears. Now, this is a total game changer for short-form content, because that stuff is designed to loop. Here's an analogy for you. Think of a baseball lineup. The 9th hitter's job is to get on base so the top of the order can drive him in. Your last line does the exact same thing. It sets the table perfectly for your first line when that video plays again. All right, technique number 2 is what we call the dance. And here's the thing, every great story is a dance, a back and forth between context and conflict. You give a little context, like here's our character and here's what they want. And then bam, you hit them with conflict, an obstacle, a huge problem. This push and pull is what creates these open loops in the viewer's brain and keeps them absolutely hooked. You want to know the best piece of advice for how to do this dance? It comes from Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the guys who created South Park. They figured out that if you connect your story beats with and then, you just get a boring laundry list of events. But if you use the words but or therefore, you suddenly have this powerful chain of cause and effect. Just look at the difference here. The and then version is, well, it's flat. It's just a pile of stuff that happened. But the but therefore structure, that creates a narrative engine. The hero wanted the treasure, but a dragon was guarding it. Therefore, the hero had to get creative. See that? That's the engine that drives your story forward. Okay, so we've got our blueprint. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. We're going from that big macro structure to the micro details with our next section, the art of writing. This is all about the words you choose and, more importantly, how you string them together. Technique number 3 is all about story lenses. Look, in today's world, just having a cool topic isn't enough, not even close. You need a unique angle. I want you to think of your story lens like a prism. You have one single beam of white light going in, that's your topic, but what comes out the other side is this incredible, unique spectrum of colors. That's what your lens does. It makes your take on a topic totally different from everyone else's. Here's a perfect example. Remember when Taylor Swift was at the Super Bowl? Thousands of creators were using the common lens. What's she wearing? How's she reacting? But a unique lens, what we call a category of one approach, would be to analyze the business impact she had on the NFL. Now that is a story very few people were telling, and that's exactly where you find your untapped audience. Technique number 4 is called rhythm, and this is all about the music of your writing. It's kind of subconscious, but our brains find a natural, varied pacing to be incredibly soothing and, well, really engaging. When all your sentences have the same length and the same structure, it just gets monotonous, it's boring. The legendary author Gary Provost explained this perfectly. Just listen to this for a second. This sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Now listen, I vary the sentence length and I create music. The writing sings. I use short sentences and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes, when I am certain the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerable length. You can literally feel the difference, can't you? You're not just writing words, you're writing music. And here's a fantastic little trick for you. Write your script, but put each sentence on a brand new line. Then, just step back and look at the shape of it. If it looks like a neat, tidy block, it's probably monotonous. What you're looking for is a jagged edge, like the one on the right. That jagged edge is your visual proof that you've got a healthy musical variety in your sentences. All right, we've built the structure, we've crafted the words. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, bringing it all to life with the perfect delivery. Because, let's be honest, how you perform your story is every bit as important as how you write it. So technique number 5 is all about tone. The most successful creators out there, think Emma Chamberlain, Casey Neistat, even Steve Jobs, they all master a conversational tone. It just breaks down that wall where the viewer is thinking, am I being sold something? And instead, it makes them feel like they're right there, hanging out in the room with you. A great way to practice this: write and film as if you are talking to one single specific friend. You could even tape their picture right next to your camera lens. It really works. And finally, we've arrived at technique number 6, the hook. You hear about the hook all the time, and for good reason. If you lose your audience in those first 3 seconds, everything else you did, it just doesn't matter. A great hook has 2 absolutely crucial elements. It's got to be punchy and tell us the plot, and it must be visual. Visuals are so important because our eyes actually process information way faster than our ears do. So don't just tell your audience what the video is about. Show them. Saying this video is about strawberries is fine. It's an audio hook. But saying that while a huge, delicious-looking strawberry fills the screen, that lets the viewer instantly get it. The rule is show, then tell. So there you have it. That's 6 incredibly powerful techniques to add to your storytelling toolkit. Let's do a quick recap and put it all together. Okay, so first, find your direction by starting at the end. Second, create that compelling dance between context and conflict. Third, find that unique story lens that nobody else is using. Fourth, create a musical rhythm with varied sentences. Fifth, perfect a friendly conversational tone. And sixth, absolutely nail your hook by showing, then telling. Seriously, mastering these 6 things will totally transform your content. So now the power is in your hands. Take a good look at this list, think about the stuff you're creating, and just ask yourself one simple question. Which one of these techniques are you going to use first?